Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to an extra special edition of Plain Talk. Why extra special? Well, with 10 shows in, we just crossed our millionth viewer. So we wanted to celebrate by giving you the opportunity to speak directly to us. This episode of Plain Talk is a one-on-one, well, it's a 5-on-1 with you. I have with me an esteemed panel of peppers. And when we come back, we're going to be answering your questions. What a week it has been since the last episode of Plain Talk. We ended up with the political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party in memes introducing a song that, and we need to confront and resolve it early so that those of you who are seeing us for the first time don't expect this to be another version of Gunman in Your Hole. I am joined in studio today by Felicia Holder, Chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party.
Good evening, everybody.
Anthony Defoe, Deputy Political Leader.
Evening, Trinidad and Tobago.
Michelle Davis, Deputy Party Organizer and Head of the South Hub.
Good evening, everyone.
And Akil Camps, Head of the North Hub.
Evening, everyone.
So, this is not 9 o'clock anymore.
Listen, right now I'm trying to get our song out of my head.
Yes, please.
Yeah? Okay, so 1 million views, 10 shows. I think that's brilliant. For a brand new show, for an online show. I don't think there's anything that is as much a phenomena as the Progressive Empowerment Party, its communication, and this show, Plain Talk. Plain Talk could not be a reality without the hard work of Satish Ramsaran and his team in PEP Media, who we say a special thank you to. This show is a mailbag show. It's a feedback show. We asked you for your questions, and we plan to do this from time to time until we get to go actually live, and then we will be taking your phone calls. But for now, we filmed this a couple hours before you actually see it. So to those who took the time to send in messages on social media from the top or in whatever order.
I'm going to do them randomly. Actually, I have a top few favorite. I was going through the list today. This question comes from Dominic Lopez on behalf of a nurse that he knows. And she asked the question, how would PEP address as a nurse, she's asking, how would PEP address their discomforts in the Port of Spain General Hospital? They are underpaid, denied increments, and overworked. Understaffed, they have outdated facilities and lack resources to treat and care for patients. How would PEP?
That's the nurse. Wow.
Yes, she wants to know how would we address their discomforts in the Port of Spain General Hospital, dealing with salaries, being overworked, understaffed, etc.
That's a very big question, and a lot of things in that question. So let's take it from, okay, so we talk generally salaries and value of money. And we need to talk public health. Public health.
Yeah.
And nursing in Trinidad and Tobago. Anybody want to take anything before I jump in? Because you could feel free, Michelle.
I mean, I think with just the healthcare in general, what we need to account for and start with is just from the budgeting perspective. Where is the money going? because
The 5 billion,
yeah, the 5 billion, where is the money going in terms of, I mean, we were down in San Fernando last weekend, and all of us saw the condition of the San Fernando General Hospital.
Atrocious.
I don't think any money is being spent. So I think that's one thing we need to look at the healthcare budget, is look
Facilities.
and see where the money is being spent. It's clearly not being spent on infrastructure of the facilities. We're building new roads to nowhere, but we are not upgrading these facilities and upkeeping them. They're just led to go down the drain. So that would take care of the situation, the really unjust work conditions they're under. They're not being staffed in terms of, we were speaking in San Fernando to a person working at the hospital, and he said just the basic material they're lacking. So we always talk about procurement. We always talk about all of these things that, when we did the gloves, they were $25, and we
one.
know that's 50 cents US. We need to look, Philip always emphasizes the procurement of these goods that we're purchasing. Are we getting value for our money?
Yeah.
Because they're the basics. They don't have sheets in a hospital, and coming from the US, I
But I just want
cannot
to give
understand
it
that.
this, and you go back and
Yeah.
continue. But of the 5 billion and the 4.5 billion, when we look at the Auditor General's report at the end of the year, when we get it back, of the $5 billion spent in public health, less than $1 billion goes to salaries. The nurses are part of that. Less than $1 billion goes to salaries, and none of that money goes to building new hospitals or new facilities, because all of the funding for that is loans and like IDB loans to build hospitals, etc. So we looked in the Ministry of Health budget accounting, and there are things like transfers, and nobody knows what that is. Nobody knows where the money is going.
Right.
We pay for things so much more than they actually worth.
Correct.
The average person with a Google account and a courier service could save Trinidad billions.
Exactly. And hence the reason for the shortage of materials and items to work with. Because if we're paying $25 for those plastic, we are really depriving the citizenship of they never have anything. I mean, that is what you hear over
Just
and
this week,
over again.
Tobago did not have a X-ray machine.
Right.
And when you tell people that the money, just like you said, the money that we're wasting in, overpaying for equipment and materials that we
Right.
build.
So Tobago turn away dialysis patients. They have no X-ray. What the hell is the hospital in Tobago for?
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea, because you're hearing people complaining about walking into the hospitals and literally being told, we cannot treat you today. And then you ask the question, what is the point of a hospital if you can't treat and take care of these sick persons?
What will it take for Trinidadians though to wake up to the reality? Because I don't know, it's like the average person is so numb and punch drunk, Akil, that they're not realizing that one of these days, that person pushing that door could be you. It could be anybody and their loved ones, and being told, put your name on a green list. What was that I was hearing earlier? Put your name on a green list. And
It's madness. It's madness. Just look, I experienced a few weeks ago. My mother-in-law and my grandmother-in-law end up in Mount 2 for weeks. And my wife had to go every single day to bathe, change sheets, pillowcases, and all of that, because just didn't have. There are times she went, now my grandmother, she has Alzheimer's, and they had to go hunting for her because she got out and she just walked. One other patient was saying that she was taking food out of where she wouldn't take it, right? Because nobody was overseeing. Now, that's one part, but on the next swing of it now, these nurses sometimes get the blame because of what we were talking about.
Right.
And they end up in a position where they need a job, they have to stay, they can't do better because they're under
Correct.
facilitated with stuff, and that's a real hard position to be in. So they end up very
I know a lot of doctors.
Demotivated.
I know a lot of doctors, senior doctors, and doctors tell me all the time, public service comes with a gag. So you can't speak about what you know. But I would get information. One day, a doctor called me, spitting mad. He said to me, because he's cussing on the phone, he said, I have a patient on an operating table and we have to shut down surgery because there is a pigeon infestation in the operating room. Now, operating room is something, my niece, she's on surgery rotation right now. She's about to become a doctor. And she tells me the hardest part is the scrub. The actual scrub of your hands and the putting on of the gloves to go into that surgery room. How long that takes and how perfectly
Yeah, 'cause the room
sanitized.
has to be sterile.
You
have
are
to be
perfectly
sterile.
sanitized and you walk into a room, they have cats chasing rats and rats chasing snakes. I mean, it is ridiculous. And all of us together, Trinidad and Tobago, because we've accepted this, because I want to get to the bottom of that, and maybe for this lady's question, maybe she could help us get to the bottom. Tony, why do Trinidadians accept such poor service and we not make a big fuss and force a change?
Well, why Trinidad accept this non-service? Well, before we even go there, I want to just touch back to what Michelle was saying before about value for money. And a big part of the hemorrhaging, as far as I see it, within the budget that's allocated for the health sector is the overpriced drugs. Why don't the state have a body that can oversee and confirm pricing for drugs?
Let me add something. A dentist called me to say, go to the new health centers they built and look at the equipment that they've put in. And the equipment is more than you need for a health center. And they give them equipment that they will never use because you won't go to a health center for that. And the overprice on that equipment is in the millions of
But this
dollars.
is it. Why isn't it we not have a body to confirm pricing on product that we have to purchase, especially if
The
it's a
oversight.
state? This is it.
Transparency.
Yes.
Tendering
Ah,
process.
boy.
A
Procurement
proper
board.
robust
Yes.
and
Yes.
transparent in
Yes.
this process.
Yes.
You see, and Akim keeps making the point that all of PEP's policies work together for a better Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
Because a robust and transparent tenders process will mean that everybody who can supply medical equipment and supplies would have an opportunity to bid.
Exactly.
And it would be in an open and competitive manner so that we get the best value for the best price. But that's not what happens.
Listen, I can see this being in the medical field, and I will put it out there. Who vexed loss, you know? And the point is that I am striving for a better Trinidad and Tobago. And that has to stem towards the citizenry of the country. They must be in a position to be getting betterment, to have value for their dollar. And a perfect example is within the optical field. You look at glasses, for example. If you go on the net, you can actually get a complete pair of glasses, frame and lens, for $100 US.
Yes.
Let's quantify that 7 to 1. All right? That's $700 TT. You go to any major optical company in Trinidad and Tobago, and you will realize you're paying anywhere from $4,500 as far as $6,000.
Yes.
You have a company like Quartz now that's giving you higher purchase where you're almost doubling that price after the period of time that you have to pay out on it. Now again, when
Taking
you
advantage of people's
this
needs.
is it, man, and we're talking about a population that does not have spending power. So when you have an environment like this, especially on the corporate line, that is taking such advantage of a mass of a population, I mean, really and truly, then now, what is the purpose of government? Because isn't government supposed to be there to seek the interests of the people? And for
their
them,
finances.
this is my point, man.
If there is a company that's very closely related to finances of the government and they're very heavily involved in the medical supply field and they are financing, you see, this is where government crosses the line into criminality in Trinidad and Tobago. Because there is no accountability, as you said, and there's nothing in place for us to say, hell no, let's intervene in this. The best you could do is write a letter, hope it get published in the papers. The
Yes.
best you could do is light a tire fire and hope the commissioner of police don't come and put his boots in your neck. We are a country where the people have been browbeaten and beaten down to the point where we think and they take that hit
Yes. Listen,
because it could get worse.
I don't know. For
Because
me,
it could be worse.
for me,
You just think everything could be worse.
looking at my clients, I am seeing a body of a population that is literally brainwashed. And why I say this is because I would have clients come into me, a Versace frame that I may sell for $1,000,
Right.
that one of the other corporate competitors of mine would sell it for $3,000-$4,000. I have people coming into me and asking me, "Is this real? Is this fake? Is this a knockoff?" And I'm offended. But at the same time, it gives me an opportunity to just try to let them explain to them that the
Educate them.
true cost of this is not what is being quantified on the ground. That's like buying a vehicle, like you said yourself, Michelle.
Exactly.
A Honda costing $25,000, and we are selling it here for almost $500,000. You know what I mean?
400,000 DT.
Where does the line? Where is it drawn?
And I just want to follow
But it
up.
goes back to with the word accountability, and let's go back to where this stems from: management.
Yeah.
Right? Are we managing properly? Who is the director or the overseer, or what position ever it's called, who is overseeing these hospitals? That is, we should be reporting
Michelle,
back
you're being
to-
ridiculous. When Christopher Phillip died on the grounds of the General Hospital, the CEO of the Port of Spain General Hospital, the hospital administrator, he should have been fired.
Yes.
And the
Of
CEO of the
course.
Regional Health Authority should have been fired. Because there's nothing you could lose more valuable than your life. And if we've reduced our people, I mean, the most undignified way to die is how he died.
But where is the management?
If they're
And
not
I-
accounting for that, if the security guard company didn't lose the contract,
And as a manager, as a director, not only are you responsible for the financial aspect of your operation, you are responsible for what this nurse is bringing to our attention. The overall working conditions, the motivation, the state of mind these nurses
without
are
a
in.
progressive empowerment
right?
party, without PEP media, without plain talk, who is talking about these things? We are that little avenue by which people are raising. Look at what was raised on the show. So many things that were brought up on the show. David Mohammed brought up issues that affect black working class people in Trinidad and Tobago. Gary Griffith brought up issues about the police service I've never heard on any other interview. When I listened to the prisons commissioner and the head of the prisons officers and their laments, and Tony was asking, but because we couldn't understand that you're getting a budget but you don't get the money.
Well, the prisons officer said that. I mean, in terms of
You get your budget and you don't get
right.
the money.
And Felicia sent me a link yesterday. An independent senator is now referencing the same thing.
That
Where's
Michelle
the
raised,
that I
asking
raised
where's
2
the
weeks
money
ago?
that we are allocating for budgets that we're seeing at the start of a fiscal year, yet you're not seeing as salaries are not being paid. And just something that you said there, Philip, based on the conversations that we've been having with people and the prisons commission, and they is that a lot of people, they're seeing the issues though, but they're not really speaking about it in the way that they should. And I mean, I have to say, people are becoming a little bit more educated. But I watched this week, for the past 2 weeks on Facebook, someone documents the progressive death of their parents on Facebook and documenting the atrocious and the terrible hospital conditions that they had to endure. But just one thing about the post, I mean, aside from the fact that she was losing her parent, another thing made me really sad, because at the end of the post, I guess maybe in her frustration, maybe not understanding where the blame lies, she spoke about everything that was wrong, but the only thing she didn't do was lay the blame exactly where it needs to be, which is exactly what you were saying, the hospital staff and the management. I run the finance of this organization, the Progressive Empowerment Party, and every month I know I have to review bills, I have to review expenditure. When we have an event, we have people normally have a 3-code system, we have a 5-code system to find the best and most reasonable price in terms of spending. So I'm asking, if I'm managing our budget to this level, what are these people doing in terms of management,
Money's no problem,
managing
I'm trying to make up.
the
Eric Williams said that money is no problem. Spend the
Taxpayers'
money.
pocket.
Spend the money. These people, they're almost demons. They're not real people. When you deal with these politicians, it's a sickening thing. When people call and they ask, why aren't you why isn't the Progressive Empowerment Party joining with other people? I'll never forget when Patrick Manning, for a stunt, said when he is finished in politics, he wants to go and be a pastor.
Hmm.
And I said to him, I said, you have right now the power and the authority, the ability and the money to change conditions for all the people on the bottom rung of society. Forget those who could vote for you. I'm talking about the people who are dying. We have hospice patients. We have homeless. We have, Trinidad and Tobago, we treat homelessness like it's a joke. The vagrants are treated like scourges to society. I just the other day, the mayor of Port of Spain a couple of days ago made the most heinous remarks about homeless people and what it takes to get a person homeless. He may not understand. Patrick Manning may not have understood. But this is the purpose of the offices they hold. You have to know. And if you cannot know, if you are incapable of understanding or basic human compassion, hire people who can.
Exactly.
Hire people who could advise you, who could explain to you there are 3 reasons people end up homeless. They either have a drug or alcohol addiction, they have a mental condition, a mental illness, or they failed and fall through life's cracks. And all 3 of them could be treated with and dealt with in a humane and dignified manner in a country where the average person, based on the $1 trillion we've spent in the past 57 years, the average person should be living like a millionaire.
Sure.
How do we end up with our people so broken and having prime ministers talking about, I want to be a pastor? God send you now. Pastor don't have power like you have. You are God's man on earth. Do the job. I wonder, I said, when Bastio Pandey was in office, and I was watching Brian Quaitong and Ishwa Galbaranse, and people may not remember, but Trinidad took a dark turn under Bastio Pandey. We legalized a lot of things then, gambling, and a lot of things that became the norm in Trinidad and Tobago. Bars stopped having to close, so you could drink all night, you could chop it 24 hours a day. And all those things. And I said to myself, I think Brian Quaitong and Ishwa Galbaranse has found out that there's no God. You do it one. There's it. Because that's how they were living. That's how they were living. This lady who raised those issues, the value of the money in her pocket is crap. I was going to say just now, nurses, farmers, teachers, police officers, our sanitation personnel. These are the important people in our society.
Very
The
much
garbage men stop working for 2 weeks. Country
Yes,
stop.
Yes.
Country
yes.
stop. Nurses stop working. Country stop.
Correct.
Teachers stop working. Country stop. Police officers stop working. Country stop. We've written laws to enslave these people, to gag them, to prevent them from striking. And I want to say, time to change all of that. These are human beings. In the United States of America, there's something called nurse practitioners, which is not yet a doctor, but higher than a nurse. And a nurse practitioner could run an ER room, an emergency room. A nurse practitioner, and this is what we need to escalate to. And we've been saying this for 5 years. They wouldn't steal the idea, because you can't pay a nurse practitioner the dirt that we pay our nurses. And our nurses are human beings too. And our nurses have their problems in their life too. They're trying to balance their budgets, pay their bills, while trying to give committed, compassionate care to your loved ones. But while they're fighting up for your loved ones, their loved ones home suffering.
Right.
But who manages the wages, Phillip? Because we have this concept of back pay in Trinidad, which I've never understood. So we have a rampant cost of living going up, and we have people, years of back pay owing.
As
Right?
a gift.
Right?
But it's supposed to be
where does
Michelle,
that-
I keep raising the issue of a unit of work. If you're a nurse changing bed sheets in New York City, and you're a nurse changing bed sheets in Port of Spain General Hospital,
Right.
it is the same units of work. And you're exchanging labor for money.
Mhm.
You're exchanging your ability, that activity, for money. Yes?
Right.
If you're doing that unit of work, nursing, in New York City,
should be equivalent, but it's
If
not.
you're doing
and
that
we know
unit of
that.
work in Trinidad, when you get paid for your work,
Mhm.
that money should have value. Our unions are political. Our unions are in bed with politicians. The union leaders play a game, but they're in bed with politicians because union leaders are not fools. They know that it is the value of the money and not the amount of money. I tell my son the other day that I am 52. But when I was a little boy in St. Mary's and in primary school, St. Mary's College before, when I used to go to my father's store in St. James, 81 Western Main Road, St. James, I would go there after school. My father would give me a 25 cents. I'm saying this, and I remember how people used to talk about 6 cents for butter. But my father would give me 25 cents, and I'd go down Clarence Street, round the corner to the little shop, and I would get a solo soft drink and 4 of those coconut biscuits with the lines on it out of the pan. And that was my tea. And that was 25 cents. It is not it's not how much money you have. If you have $100 million and a house is $200 million, you don't have a house. It's not the quantum, and they keep marching for quantums,
right.
and then they get this back pay and this lump sum.
Yes,
And depending on the amount of workers it is, that falls on the economy and shoots inflation up, and the same money that you got just took prices of what you were going to buy before when you didn't have it up to this new price. What do you
And
do?
where this all stems from is and we talk about it all the time, the complacency of the citizenry in terms of just staying quiet on these issues.
What choice they ever had?
Because it
Who else
amazes
ever
me,
did this?
amazes me that when a Trinidadian goes abroad, that said hospital that they will face in New York, they will complain about the service.
Well,
But when we come here, for some reason, it's almost the normal.
Who's listening?
well, this is it.
Who's listening?
This is it. That's
what
it
are we
right there.
gonna do?
And I think that's what our locals on the ground or citizens realize, because you jump on a plane, you go into any other country for that matter, you get 10 times better service than you would get here. Things would work 10 times better, more efficient. You go into the bank. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, basically. Outside of Trinidad, the service is more efficient. So coming to the ground here in Trinidad is simply something that you have to accept, to say to yourself, well, we know we bust, we big two, we have to cater to be in our hospital day for maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
Dr. David Bratt wrote an article called Shame. I read that this morning. Roger Israel from the Ministry of Works sent me that article. I have been meaning to copy and share that article and send it viral. Felicia, read that article for me.
A culture that lacks shame also lacks pride. Back to the grind. The loud music, the bad drives, the grime on the roads, garbage everywhere, on streets, in rivers, up El Takush, the filthy beaches, the foul language, the comments, the lack of courtesy, the sullen, angry faces, the drugs, the crime, the corruption, the grinning politicians, the shame. There is a savagery inside people now. It was not there a generation ago. It is not confined to the young. It is not confined to men. You see older men, older women filled with pent-up aggression, ready to explode at any moment if you deny them what they consider to be their right. This is life in Trinidad and Tobago too. All over TNT, life is one stressful event. You have to go away to realize this. Even whilst traveling, one quickly realizes the most obnoxious people are Americans and Trinis, and like amoeba, how you pronounce that? Amoeba? Amoeba? How you pronounce that?
Amoeba.
Amoeba. One learns to move away from harmful stimuli. It's difficult to visit Barbados and not make comparisons favorable to them. On vacation, relaxed and at ease, one has to take this into account. Still, everything here seems to be done quietly, tastefully, and with a certain amount of class. At one food outlet, I ordered 3:30, pick up at 5:30, arrive at 5:40, and the attendant greets me with a smile and gives me my 2 bags of takeaway. No sir, no need to see your receipt, I remember you. Food is hot and tasty too. Last week, I had a 9 a.m. appointment in Bridgetown. We were staying at an easy 10-minute drive away. At 8:15, I began to panic. Hurry up, I told my wife. We're going to be late. Of course, it being Barbados, we arrived 30 minutes early. Little traffic. For Trinis, the idea of going somewhere without traffic is like eating chow without pepper. Look at how we behave on the road. It's an apt metaphor for life. It's so easy to drive in Barbados. People are courteous. They respect the law and each other. Imagine my consternation the first time I arrived at a major intersection and a car stopped to let me in. I had to look around suspiciously and check that nobody was trying to mama guy me. And it wasn't my rented car. They do it for Bajan friends all the time. They do it for each other. What a quaint nation. Imagine doing something for somebody else. Seeing it as a civilized thing to do. Makes for peaceful driving. Not here. Not on our poorly maintained roads filled with potholes and swerving cars, aggressive drivers on the wrong side of the road coming straight for you, causing traffic and too dotish to see the effect. Where are the traffic police? Where's the traffic plan for the island? Not for 2 blocks of downtown Port of Spain. Don't talk about traffic. The hours lost, stuck in a jam, productivity down, stress up, the toxic effect on developing children cooped up in cars for 3 to 4 hours a day. The effect on family life, on marriages, on prostates and bladders. I am told that elderly gentlemen, ladies, and pregnant women are investing in pee bottles to keep in the car. Where's the vision? Mr. Manning, at least in the years before he became arrogant and refused to listen to anybody, had his 2020 fancy. One doubts that any politician since then has anything else in their minds than petty considerations, box drains, and the like. The general public continues to fool themselves that we're making progress because we have plenty of new cars on the road. There's hope. There always is. That's why the island hasn't collapsed, she said, because you still have strong families and decent people. Bajans complain their way of life is crumbling, that they are only 20 years behind us. Yet they have their problems. Yes, they have their problems. But the way we are going, they will never catch us.
Great.
That's deep.
All right, that summed up.
That's deep.
That summed up everything Trinidad is
How's that
about.
Dr. David Brad?
Oh, absolutely
And-
fantastic.
Yeah.
It sums it up. It sums it up. I told you I have a 94-year-old mother in the States, and we have our house here, and that's the dilemma I'm facing. I can't bring her here because of the healthcare.
Madness.
I dare
Because
not.
of the crime, because of the
The
traffic,
crime, the
because of the water,
healthcare,
because
the
of cost of
water,
living, because the unavailability of medicines.
Right.
All of those reasons are reasons you can't bring her in.
Cannot bring her here. So I find myself in the dilemma of my mother has to come first, but health care is the primary reason I can't take that chance of bringing her here.
You thought of that ago.
Oh,
Yeah, that
Wow.
dead on point.
dead.
Dead on point.
After I read that article, I almost said Barbados, here I come.
Yeah.
Because, I swear,
Yes.
I love my country. I love Trinidad and Tobago. But right now, I don't like it at
Yeah.
all.
I hear that loud and clear, brother.
Right.
I hear that loud and clear.
I don't like it. I love it, but I don't like it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more of your questions.
Don't miss your opportunity to advertise right here on the #1 political talk show on Facebook Watch. With an exciting roundup of guests and hot topics each week, Plain Talk reaches a monthly audience upwards of 500,000, putting your ad right in the hands and news feeds of hundreds of thousands of consumers. Packages start at just $500, which guarantees your ad is seen live, on reruns, and on demand. To book your spot, contact our sales team at 347-4737. The future of advertising is online, and that's just Plain Talk.
Sale, sale, sale. Boddington and Associates Optical is offering free eye testing along with 50% off all frames and 30% off all lenses. Boddington and Associates Optical, located at number 17 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, and 11 McBean Road, Couva. Info line 671-5342. Call and book your free eye testing today. Boddington and Associates Optical, helping you see the way.
Antel is Trinidad's most reliable and technically experienced ICT company, providers of quality structured cabling, Cat6 data fiber, and power cables. We also stock cabling infrastructure basket-type cable trays for server rooms and data centers. Antel also installs and maintains video security systems including cameras, alarms, and electronic entrance locks for businesses and residential properties. Call Antel 674-1406 or 783-9250.
So I'm smiling because Tony talks stupidest when we're not on air. And no, it's not 9 o'clock anymore. And yeah, those of you who following the gunman and the whole saga, you all know what we're laughing at, right? And we just before we went to break, we were dealing with one question that had multiples of parts, and that one question gave us a lot to talk about. And Felicia, we have any more?
We do. We have some really good ones.
Simple ones first. Let's get through all the simple ones.
Let's do the simple one. I'm unclear on the housing with no interest policy in regards to curbing crime. How does owning a home stop crime?
The family is the crucible, is the front line in the fight against crime. All the studies show that nations with high home ownership have strong families. Nations with strong families have little crime.
That's quick.
Yeah.
Nice, sweet, and simple.
Healthcare got a whole half an hour. Home ownership got 2 seconds.
No, but I mean, she asked a question and that's the answer. I mean, okay, if you want to go a little deeper. The family is, Michelle, the family is the front line. Once you come from a good family, people join gangs looking for what families give. One of our guests soon is going to be Gregory Sloan-Seal from the Citizen Security Program. He and I speak about that all the time. A lot of the gang members in criminal gangs have joined the gangs looking for intimacy, inclusion, actualization, all the things Maslow talks about in his hierarchy of needs that you get from your home and your family.
Yep.
Correct.
But we've destroyed the family because the father could barely pay the rent. He could barely pay the bills. It is emasculating to men.
Very much so. Very much so. Very. You see what you just said there?
Yes.
That there, brother, 6 out the park. Because I believe...
Across the road.
I'm not... yeah, that's right. Straight across the island. Straight across the island. At 9 a.m. in the morning.
No,
but no, seriously. The father is a key element. And you see where you say men are feeling demasculated. They are not, the manhood that a man would normally have. Again, creating a home environment.
Yeah.
You're giving back that man.
The home is your castle, but you have not the door because you rent due.
But then again, when you own your own home, you feel that is added back. It strengthens you.
It does, and that's the point.
Something now you can handle.
That's the
You
point.
have a stake in your community.
Exactly.
You don't want no drug block to set up in your community where you own your home and have to live and grow your family.
And imagine everybody in your block own your home.
You know, if Secret Sunday was happening on your street, you calling for it to Gary. Slackness. Because if you are a renter, you move in.
Right.
But if you and everybody else on the street own all your home, all you're calling a meeting, what is going on?
Forming an association.
One time.
Okay.
All of those things work together to stop
And the
crime.
social aspect of it also. Your children growing up with the other
Oh, well, that's the
children
best
houses.
part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's a bond.
Yes.
That bond there. Now we moving from the home to the community, and once you build strong families, strong homes, strong communities, a nation is a collection of communities.
Okay.
Once we rebuild the family, we rebuild the community. We rebuild the community, all of a sudden things like sports and culture start to bubble again. Because culture is an expression of people. Culture is not something Digicel and Be Mobile and Carib sponsor. Culture is an expression of people.
as I always say, all these policies tie together.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you slap the education into that now too, your children going to school together with your neighbors, and everybody coming up together, and anybody in a little jam, you have that unit there to lean support.
No, but if you have 3 children, it's 15 years of cake sale and barbecue in the school. You only teachers growing all together.
Exactly.
That raising your children, you're working together to raise these children in a 10-year school. No, I mean, yeah, the family is the
core.
family is the center of the country. We need to get the family back, and you're not getting the family back until you give people a chance. Now, home ownership. To those of you who don't know the Progressive Empowerment Party's home ownership policy, we plan to make 0 deposit, 0 interest for up to $1.5 million for 30-year loans available to first-time homeowners. That means for each $100,000, your mortgage payment will be $466 a month. Normal banking lending criteria. If you don't pay a loan, you're going to lose the house. But I have found, and we've all found, and courts and standards and FENS and all these other companies, all the banks, they are testimony to the fact that the smallest people, you give them a chance, they're the ones that pay their bills on time. They pay their loans.
Exactly.
They uphold the economy.
All right, and just to give credit to the person who asked that question, did your dog bark? Thanks for asking that question. This next question comes from Cyril Ramadar. He wants to know what PEP changes would be implemented in the first 100 business days when in office. I like that he was fair. He gave us business days and he didn't count the weekends.
Yes.
That was nice.
What's his name?
Cyril Ramadar.
Cyril, we have a 21 policy sneak peek preview, but we actually have 100 policies that make up Reboot the Republic, the Common Sense Guide, a blueprint to a better Trinidad and Tobago that we will be releasing soon. The fact of the matter is, there is no number. We want to do all. We want to recreate a cabinet of functional ministers. We want to separate quickly by law. We have a legislative agenda that gives us recall as our first act. That I can tell you. Recall, so that you could fire non-performing members of parliament immediately. Because a member of parliament is your representative in the government, and their voice is your voice. And if they're not doing what you send them there to do, fire them fast and get somebody else who will. But part of that legislative agenda is referendum on issues like now that's taking place in Tobago and other things. You have a direct vote. The difference between a referendum and a poll is a referendum is an actual vote that instructs the government. The government don't go back and debate 92% of the people want capital punishment. You're going to discuss it. The people said so. Your job is to go and do it now, or the people will fire you completely. Home ownership, we want to rebuild the family. Jobs are important because we say that everybody who wants a job should have a job. Everybody who has a job and wants a home should have one. Those are important. That's our food policy. We want to get Trinidad food self-sufficient in quick time, drive the price of food down. We want to set up financial service regulations, open the financial market. We want to bring banks in to give competition, drive the cost of doing business with banks down, eviscerate this friends and family policy as to who gets US. We want to close the spread on the buying and selling of US dollars to remove that unnecessary 13% tax applied to everything Trinidadians consume that we don't account for in that spread between $6.01 to $6.77. We also want to ensure that central bank dictates credit interest paid on depositors' funds, and so that we would put credit back in the market. People ask, how do small business get finance if there is no credit? This is where credit comes from. We need banks paying interest on depositors' funds again to force the banks to work that money. That's critical. We want to remove all the duties, all the VAT, all the taxes on basic building materials to further drive the cost of building homes down.
For first-time homeowners.
No, once you remove the VAT and the charges on those, it will create a building boom. It is our intention to quickly send online all government offices that could be digitized, made virtual. We want to decentralize all government offices. We will break all leases with all the 1%, 2%, 9%, doesn't matter. We're breaking all those leases and taking all of the government offices out of Port of Spain to the center of the island, those that must be brick and mortar. That could be decentralized to regions. North, East, Central, South Tobago is a good way to decentralize so that 200,000 people, as Dr. Bratt said earlier, don't have to drive for 3 and 4 hours every day raising their children in a car. These issues, we want to move the Port of Spain out of Port of Spain because it serves no purpose. More than 90% of the containers that come off the port drive out of Port of Spain, clogging up Wrightson Road unnecessarily. We want a port 10 times the size, 20 times the size. We want to build it in Point Lisas. We want to build a port where we can unstuff every container that's coming into Trinidad and Tobago. That will work with our maritime security wall that secures Trinidad and Tobago, stops and searches all marine craft, ends the drug trade, ends the gun trade, ends the human trafficking trade. We want to set up an internal affairs division within the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We want to launch commissions of inquiry into many things, including the banking sector and the administration of justice in Trinidad and Tobago, and an updated drug report. We need to know who the players are and who else are involved. You're not going to be able to clean up and fix Trinidad and Tobago until we have this critical information. Our 10-year school model, build 200 purpose-built schools for the 200,000 children in school at any one time. Make those schools, zone those schools, make those schools all prestige by assigning a GPA to every child. The collective children's GPA in the class is the teacher's GPA. The collective teacher's GPA is the principal's GPA. All the principals in the constituency is the GPA of the supervisor of education. Part of 5, supervisor of education, public works, public utilities, health, national security. Those people work together to remove, we plan to remove regional health authorities, local government, THA, and the 9 police divisions, and decentralize the authority of the cabinet back to the constituency, fund them directly, and let them operate their own business. Those things working together will rebuild the family, rebuild the community, put our people to work, get those who want houses to have houses. Our school policy will include trade schools and other disciplines for children who are not academically inclined. You could talk to contractors now. Contractors can't find masons, carpenters, you can't get apprentices. All of those things need to be addressed. The value of our money needs to be addressed. We need to make sure the Trinidadians get proper value for money, a robust and transparent tenders process system to replace the madness that takes place now. We want to shut down all the special purpose companies that end runs the tenders process and puts it back into the bright glare of the public. So I guess those are some of the things we hope to get done in 100 days.
That's a lot. A lot of things.
Tony, you want to add?
We're here to work. That's the whole point. We're not here just to come warm the seat. We see a broken country and we know there's many parts to the whole puzzle that needs work. So we're not here to fun and games, Trinidad and Tobago. We're here to work. That's the bottom line, you know what I mean? So it's up to you, make the decision.
What you all call the honeymoon phase, Phillip going to have us walking.
Yeah, exactly.
And that segues into the next question asked by Ian D'Souza. Thank you for this question, Ian. Some people would like to know, who are your running mates to occupy cabinet? I mean, of course, me. just me. Who are your running mates to occupy
I actually forgot
cabinet?
to add just now in that 100 days thing. It is our intention to separate the legislature from the executive so that elected members of parliament cannot become ministers of government, so that we could hire CEOs to run the ministries and account to the parliament. If you had proper parliamentary accounting, Trinidad and Tobago has had Gary Hunt, Anil Roberts, and Daryl Smith in quick time. Somebody would have rang the alarm in the Ministry of Sports. Something is wrong in there. We need all of our ministers, CEOs who are operating the important organizations of state as functional employees of the parliament, but members of parliament should work only for you. With regards to people who will be occupying those key positions, the best people for the job, those who will be running for the 41 seats as the Progressive Empowerment Party, you've already met a lot of them, and soon we will be having one of our biggest public meetings where we introduce to the national community all of our caretakers and all of our shadow MPs going forward, preparing for an election.
Deepak Mohan wants to know, what's the plan to improve purchasing power of the Trinidad and Tobago dollar?
What's the plan? Anybody else want to take this, or should I go?
Well, we spoke about definitely have to address the gap in the exchange rate. I mean, that is putting an
That's 13% right there.
13% right there. I mean, so that would definitely take the cost of goods and services down. There are a lot of taxes that have been, import taxes that have been implemented in terms of online buying and so forth, that we need to look at, because we're putting, again, an unjust burden on the taxpayer of this
Right.
country for just basic items that they require, because that was recently implemented. In terms of VAT, we would have to review the VAT on certain items. In
40%
terms of,
of the
right?
budget was taxes. That's
Correct.
That's
I mean,
insane. That's insane. We run in the country in the public's
we're a
pockets.
tax
That's
country.
madness. No,
We're
that's-
killing people with
that's
tax here.
that's tax and spend politics.
And also with regulating the banks. It has a lot to do with the cost of living.
Then you put
we
credit
are
back in the economy.
experiencing
Yeah,
this
yeah,
in
yeah.
country. In
And
this
not only
country.
that, building the actual value of the dollar, comparing or backing with foreign currency, whether it be US or the pound, euro, or what have you.
Correct.
For that number to be somewhat more on par, because I keep using Barbados as a
Explain the value of our dollar. It
makes no
astonishes.
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
I mean, I took economics and I try to understand
Rationalize
why
it.
half of the Caribbean is 2-1
This is
and
it.
Trinidad. I've been trying to
The biggest
understand
economy
it.
the
in the
industrial
Caribbean.
giant,
Really,
the industrial
biggest
giant.
economy.
The
Yeah.
Cayman dollar is more than the US dollar. The Bahamian dollar right now is equivalent to the US dollar.
So,
Equivalent.
based on what you're saying, we will do whatever it takes to bring inflows of incomes.
Yes.
Our GDP should not be 22 billion
Correct.
US dollars a year. If Singapore, half the size of Trinidad,
Yes,
is 322 billion.
Come now, man.
Come on, so Trinidad and Tobago should at least be on par with Singapore.
Yes.
And having a GDP that size will take us places where
course.
the value of our
Of
money,
course.
because
Becomes higher.
you raised what I wanted to ask. When Michelle took it 601, 677, how?
Yes.
How did it get?
How did it get there?
What was the decision 20 years ago? It was about 20 years ago
Mm-hmm.
that made Trinidad go from 2-1 to the
42,
6-1.
363,
What,
42, 363, 425.
caused that decision? Because who benefited from that? It clearly is not us,
Ah,
the
I
U.S.
love
the citizenry of the
Correct,
country.
correct.
We didn't benefit from that,
Correct.
because now you have 6-1. Now you're paying $9 for $1 US on the black market,
Mm-hmm.
because the Venezuelans are bringing in US, and they're buying up a lot of
And
US
what you
in
want to
Trinidad.
buy. You see, when you pay $9 and $10 for US dollar and you want to buy oranges, and you're buying oranges in US dollars, if the amount of US dollars you could buy is less because of the value, then the amount of oranges you could buy are less. Trinidadians need to understand that the value of the dollar in their pocket is important, and just tourism.
Is that why governments over the years have had such little emphasis on tourism, because they were trying to stifle
So
the
I think the
influx
value
of
of the money, the banking sector decisions to deregulate and to remove interest, and all of these things work together to enslave the population.
yes.
Trinidadians wake up scared. Trinidadians, the average person, wakes up in debt. We have our goals, we have the things that we love, we are a happy people, but underpinning all of that is the amount of stress and anxiety life in Trinidad and Tobago is. And I think that's why we have the amount of drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and mental illness that we have. People in this country are happy on the surface, masking a lot of stress.
Yes, a lot of pain.
Somebody told me yesterday, thank God for bars.
No, but that's
And he
what it
was
is. Yes.
serious.
But that's why
we have so many. That's
holiday,
why you
not
have
only that, why we have so many holidays every month. Trinidad is probably the only country in the world that have the amount of holidays throughout the entire
we
length
need
and
to
breadth
distress them everything.
of the year.
We have one beer company in Trinidad and Tobago, Carib Brewery, that makes Carib and Stag. And because of that, there's no competition to drive the price down or the quality up. A stag is cheaper in the UK than in Trinidad.
Imagine that.
They are taking advantage of our people. Trinidadians are double taxed, triple taxed, quadruple taxed. You cannot run a country on 40% taxation and then say that you have a almost socialist program where you give all these OJTs, CPEP, URP. You shouldn't have to be giving people these things. What you need to give people is hope and opportunity and get out their way.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the kind of hope they're giving people. Look like a few years ago, agriculture, they're giving out land, right? Orange Grove, they had make some areas available for farmers. And you could not build a home there to say, well, you could stay and safeguard your stuff. They said, okay, they're going to cut roads, they're going to have security, they're going to have everything. But that don't happen. You will plant, and the day before you reap, you will not come and take it. Right? You can't stay on your land. I will never do that. I refuse to go and even apply
Because
for that
again, the 1%ers that import all the food, billions of dollars of our food. I have a friend, she grows kale. That's all she grows. And she sells kale to the standard that is imported and sold in Price Mart for $45 a bag. She sells the same quantity for $3.
But
She
let's
can't
talk
reap it
about,
fast enough.
Philip, let's talk about the high taxation in this country, and the reason we are living by high taxation is because the amount of debt the country is drowning in. Next year it is forecasted 69% of our GDP, that's 70% of
Debt.
our income is debt. So hence the reason when we see something being built and so forth, the average citizen does not understand this is a loan that who's paying it back? Us. So that's why
Michelle,
the
you
taxes
cannot
are out
have
of
a
control
situation
here.
where the government gave $2.50 extra minimum wage, and it affected 194,000 people. When I heard that number, I thought this was madness. You can have 194,000 people on minimum wage. We have 1.4 million people.
But do
the math.
Do the math. It works out to $700 a week. All right, that's 17.25 that they're going to be. It works out to $700 a week times 4, $2,800 a month, and the average rent in Trinidad is $2,000 a month. So the disposable income for that family, for that person, is $800. Where you and I know you could walk out the door and spend that in 5 hours.
It was a badly thought out policy as well, because those 194,000 people work for people. And there are a lot of people in this crazy economy right now, because I'm still trying to understand how the rest of the globe economy grew by 3.5% for 4 years, and we were in recession. But in this recession economy that destroyed so many good people and good businesses, there are a lot of people barely holding on. And the extra money that you just awarded the minimum wage earners, they can't pay it. They cannot pay it. Their business already in debt.
Exactly.
So they are going to either close down and go out of business, or they're going to have to lay somebody off and put more work on another person. And it was badly thought out.
Exactly.
So, to answer your question, we have to increase income, cut expenses, remove corruption. That is a critical thing. At least half of our budget is corruption.
Yes.
We need a revaluation of our dollar based on real facts. We need plans, goals, and objectives for the country that takes us to a $400 billion GDP in quick time. We need to play big in agriculture and food processing, in tourism, in shipping. We need to get into those big money items and move away from the dependency on, gotta say it, and so many people have been saying it for so many years. Oil and gas.
What oil? What oil?
What oil and what gas?
Poor
You're
oil
absolutely
and
right.
Last question. Edward Charles Alexander, interesting name. Is that your
I
family?
have no idea.
Edward Charles Alexander wants
You
to
have two
know-
of my 3 names.
Yeah. He asked a question similar to what we would do within the first 100 days, except he timetabled it as 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. I think we kind of answered that one. But there was a second part of his question that he asked. As someone that saw firsthand the horrid conditions at Port of Spain Remand Yard, how soon can you start and make moves in justice reform, especially a law for deadline for all cases like Canada recently did?
Immediately, the Progressive Empowerment Party advocates a speedy justice statute. 24 hours from hold to charge. If you don't charge in 24 hours, you have to release. After charge, you have 6 months to prosecute or release. From the time you begin the prosecution, you have 3 years for civil matters, 5 years for criminal matters, or the case collapses. That's a speedy justice statute. It puts the responsibility on the judge and on the prosecution to bring the case against the person, or the case collapses. At the end of the law term, the onus will be on the Judicial and Legal Service Commission to identify the judges who cannot case manage and bring cases in under the 5-year term. That is more than necessary. We also advocate for the cancellation, abolition, termination, revocation of this insane, unexplainable, wasteful, unnecessary justice on time prisoner transport contract. We will build courts outside the jails, and we will make sure that real justice on time is available. The Progressive Empowerment Party already has the mechanism and means to decriminalize marijuana. We will empty the jails of people on petty matters. We will also work together with the Chief Justice, the President, the DPP, and all those willing, and if nobody's willing, then we'll write a law to make this happen, that anybody who are in jail longer than 10 years for matters that should not end in a custodial sentence as long as 10 years should be released. That does not count for blood crimes and white collar crimes. But we need to get to a place where all our people's rights are respected. We also would like to get to make that happen, start that immediately. For that to not have an effect on cases prior, there will be a date set that from this date go forward, there will be 2 court systems running simultaneously in Trinidad and Tobago concurrently. The modern speedy justice statute driven court system, and what we will have to refer to as cold cases and past cases. And the judges that are working through those cases, as soon as we work through all of those past cases, they'll be brought and put on this. We will need more judges. We will hire judges from the Commonwealth, not just from Trinidad and Tobago, because we need our justice system beyond reproach. And we will set up gun courts, drug courts, night courts, petty crime courts, civil courts, so that we could work through the backlog in quick time and empty the jails of people who should not be there. To those who run afoul of the system and find themselves incarcerated, we plan to turn our jails into universities. The faster you make yourself a better person is the faster you could get yourself out of jail and back into a productive, contributing life. We propose, and this is again not for white collar, not for blood crimes, not for things like treason, we propose to shave off of your sentence. If you're illiterate and you learn to read, you shave time off your sentence. If you then acquire a degree, again, take more time off your sentence. You get a master's, all you have in jail is time. All you have is time. And we plan to also introduce things like conflict resolution, anger management. A lot of people end up in jail for 3 things: the inability to manage conflict, illiteracy, or mental illness. And we need to identify who is what, fix them, so that when they come back out of the prison, they are functional members of society.
Well said.
That's what we need.
The truth of the matter is, there's not a problem in this country that can't be fixed. We know. I keep quoting Michelle and her deliberate incompetency. It's set up to fail.
It is, and we need to recognize that as citizens. We need to recognize that the Progressive Empowerment Party has the solutions, and as we've just spent, this time, we have the solutions, first world solutions, to fix this country, and we as citizens need to realize that we deserve this. This is how the rest of the world functions. This is how, the article indicated Barbados is 30 minutes away. You fly there and you feel like you're in a different world. You don't even
Whole
feel
different
like you're in
time
the
zone.
Caribbean.
Very true.
And yet it's 30 minutes away. I go there just to escape the madness of Trinidad, and it's like a
I go
detox for
Barbados.
me.
I go Barbados.
No, it's
Taking baby breaths.
wonderful. It's
And,
wonderful. But we need to, citizens, we deserve better. And let's wake up to that there are solutions to what we face.
Yeah. This is. There's no knot that can be untied. We have to untie this knot that we have created, remove our blinkers, and see that it could be fixed. That's all.
You think the average person, what they call in law a reasonable man, you think the average person in Trinidad and Tobago is a reasonable person? That wants better? That capable of seeing past the nonsense of tribal politics or PNM or UNC for life?
I believe it's a little beyond that. It's like they not even thinking like that. It's okay, that's how it is. That's how it is. You can't change that, nobody can change that.
Or only God will change it?
That's
get
the
I want
next,
to.
that's the next part.
I must be a hopeless optimist because when I see and hear people say things, and I said it on Saturday, people with PhDs and masters saying that this is just the system. No, we have to change the system. We can't just accept things as they are anymore. I can't.
But that's the point, and I ask you the question, you think the average person could operate at that level? Are we preaching the sermon of change to people who could understand that change is possible?
I think just as they beat it into us, we have to beat it out of them.
Yes. Yes.
I like that
Sorry
answer.
to say.
Yes.
We're gonna have to beat that. I woke up on
Figuratively.
on some family the other day. I say, no, I'm not standing here. You all can't tell me this can't change. I'm sorry, I'm not standing here and take
It's the but. It's the but that's upset me.
Yeah.
Everything you say correct.
Correct.
But
This is your.
We have to find creative ways of reaching them. If it's 9 o'clock in the morning and
Bruh! You hit them, yes.
we come back.
we come back.
Circle.
No, but that is a great
Find
point.
creative ways of reaching
Because
people.
that, I think, gave PEP an opportunity for a demographic of people that normally would not have looked in our direction, and literally who's not even interested in politics whatsoever.
I said, wait a minute, who's the sexy
Yeah.
Syrian man?
Well, I don't know about that. But the point is that the people involved in that whole genre of music and whatnot use your clip as an opportunity to actually introduce the man's song. It's a newly released song. It's now started getting traction, and now you have people seeing, who is this guy? You know, where did he come from?
I tell people it's the funniest thing. I went in the bank and the teller was saying, I saw you in a video. And I was thinking, I do so many videos. She said, and she grabbed the other teller, look, the man who sing that man in your
Deep, bro, deep.
I got some WhatsApp messages from people who I would normally send stuff to them, political, and they don't take me on, they don't answer nothing.
This
And
one
I
they
get it
did.
back a video with Phillip.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was
Hey,
crazy.
listen, whatever it takes to get the message out there
Yes,
at the end of the day. Because what frustrates me, what will frustrate me, and I know this, is I guess how lifeguards feel or doctors feel if you could save somebody but they don't let you save them.
Yeah,
No.
that is the dilemma we're actually left with right now. That's the environment that we're left with, because there's a large portion of the population that is doing exactly that.
But people betting their lives, literally betting their lives, on political parties that have let them down every time they had a chance.
Yeah. You are
There's
absolutely
nothing
correct.
that the UNC could say could change people out. The people who've seen the UNC for what it is cannot unsee it. You know what I mean? The UNC was both opportunities under Kamla and under Basio Bandi. And for all the excuses that the supporters try to make, well, she didn't know, well, he didn't see.
We
Listen,
only have 10 years.
the buck stops with you.
Yeah.
You're in charge. they have no attire. I can't pay attention. I'm not seeing that. I
Correct.
surround myself with the wrong people. It's kind of nonsense. Both opportunities that the UNC had at government, they betrayed the public's trust, and you can't unsee that. And what this version, this Rowley PNM, only using the name PNM. It's not the same PNM
Yeah,
as
something
Manning's
else.
PNM. And Manning's PNM was a different PNM to Williams' PNM. But it seems that the common thread in every PNM is advantage black people. Use them, fool them, betray them, give them handouts, shiny trinkets, baubles, while you and your friends rape the treasury. That's what goes on. We've spent $998 billion in 57 years. That could buy the rest of the Caribbean. That's what we spent. This could be Trinidad and Tobago and Antigua and St. Lucia and St. Vincent and Grenada and Jamaica. We're going to buy them.
And all the islands being connected
Exactly.
by land.
Exactly.
We could have buy them.
That could have financed all that.
And in the other islands, you see the value from money when you go to visit. You see the infrastructure. You see the money being spent on technology. I mean, we discussed with Jamaica with the CCTVs. Half of them don't work here,
Yeah.
so they can't use them. In Jamaica, that's a primary way of solving crime in the country, and they are utilizing. Their crime is down significantly. But again,
people speak about
why
Jamaica,
doesn't it
bro.
work here?
Well, they utilize the oil money properly, you see.
Guyana's economy is set to grow 82%.
So that.
That is a ridiculous number.
Yes, brother.
That's a Chinese. If you don't have anything going for you and you have no hope, take your toothbrush, two change of underwear, and go Guyana.
Yeah.
Jobs
Yes.
going to be pouring out of that country. They're going to need people to do everything. And the kind of money that 82%, I mean, that is stupid money. Trinidad had that twice.
U.S. flowing.
We had more than that.
Trinidad had Dubai money.
Yeah.
Trinidad had Saudi Arabia money. Per capita, the third wealthiest. I tell people, when you say the third wealthiest in the Western Hemisphere, US, Canada, Trinidad, that means we were ahead of Mexico. Mexico!
Brazil.
We were ahead of Brazil. Brazil is a superpower. We were ahead of Venezuela, Argentina, Chile,
Panama.
Uruguay, Paraguay,
Yeah.
Panama.
And these are extremely robust economies.
Yes.
And Singapore, half the size of Trinidad and Tobago, just eclipsed the United States of America as having the most competitive economy in the world. We use Singapore as an example because they got independence the same time as us. They didn't have no oil, they didn't have no gas, they didn't have no pitch lake, they didn't have no Tobago. They didn't have the largest brain core in the world, they don't have a nylon pool, they don't have our cocoa, they have our
Nothing.
honey,
Just shipping. That's it.
and proper management.
And proper management.
And
It
our
boils
rainbow
down
people.
to that.
We
I
so
think we
blessed
really have
yet.
a rainbow people. The branches of our tree fight each other, and that's why the roots starving. And the Trinidadians who bet in their lives on the PNM and UNC, if you put God out your thoughts and make a bet like that in the next election, this country will collapse. I bet my own life on that. Michelle Davis, closing comments.
As we've discussed, we have the solutions, and I think the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago need to realize that they deserve better. It's simple application of first world standards that can be applied here. Yes, it will work. Stop the party loyalty. They're not being loyal to you. So we need to stop being loyal to them. We need people in power that are here to serve the citizens of this country.
Nothing the PEP does is similar to what has been done by any other political party, and that should say a lot. And that's all I have to say.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago, you see, we took some messages from you, questions from you, and we engage in the public directly. It's not just us trying to dictate a pace. At the end of the day, is that's the role that we play. We have to know exactly what the people are saying on the ground, where you would like to be, exactly where we are, and how the heck are we going to get there. So at the end of the day, I would always say it. You want to save TNT, it's only one thing you need to do, which is vote PEP.
I want to thank my colleagues for wrapping up and talking PEP and policy, because I would like to talk PEP merchandise. We have new merchandise on sale with some slogan t-shirts, as well as this lovely fuchsia pink polo being sported by Phillip. Model first now, being sported by
But Akil and the new logo.
by Phillip Edward Alexander, as well as Akil, cameraman. If we can pan to Akil and director. Yes, pan to our new logo, new merchandise, new t-shirts with slogans. Contact Lima at 7614132 if you would like to get some of our newer t-shirts.
Where
It's
did you
not
see that?
just, don't worry, I saw it. It's not just polos and t-shirts, but actually it is polos and t-shirts, but not just PEP polos and t-shirts. We actually have new slogans and sayings. Was it? Oh God, I can't remember the new one that she came up with.
You can't fix stupid, but you can vote it out.
Yes, you
Right.
can't fix stupid, but you can vote it out. So support us. We are expanding our line of merchandise, and new stock is in. You can contact any of our offices, East Hub, Central, Headquarters, and the North Hub. Michelle Davis also has in South. PEP events coming up December. And Jenny, you'll have to take some in JC Manchikonas.
Oh, she doesn't have
She doesn't have yet, but we will get some to her. PEP events are in November, one more month until December. We have confirmed that our barrel sale, that event that you guys look forward to so eagerly, is happening on December the 7th this year. That's a Christmas barrel sale right at our PEP headquarters. So save your money. You know the prices are going to be really good. You have a month away to get your Christmas items. You also have our PEP Christmas party, which is on December the 14th. Tickets are just $100, and it includes food, drinks, and entertainment, and of course, fun with your PEP family.
Peppers who could cook, cooking that.
Yes,
I
our
bring in
peppers.
curry breadfruit with sorrel jam.
So we will not be eating anything made by Phillip Alexander. Curry bread.
Give him any last closing words.
With sorrel jam.
Sorrel jam.
That's for the season.
And with that, I would wrap up my contribution for the evening.
Pass it back to me. It's always fun sitting with this bunch. Trinidad and Tobago, you have an option, you have an alternative, you have a real political vehicle. You have people that are willing to take the time to talk to you about the things that you need to know. We give you multiples of personalities to explain it to you. You get to choose one. You say life is a box of chocolates, this political party is too. You have many people that you can say, okay, I'll talk to her or him. I'll get it from them, because, I mean, there's only so much fill to go around.
Oh my goodness.
No? It's not funny anymore.
We had your film.
Director.
Making light of a serious time. Listen, Michelle said it. We have to stand up. We deserve better. The better country that we want is on the other side of our vote. It can't get worse. It cannot get worse. Before you vote, go to a police station. Ask them to show you the holding cells. Before you vote, go to any hospital. Just walk around. Walk through. Go casualty. Take a number. Before you vote, work out your budget, your money, and what you get for it, and where you're going as you get older. Before you vote, look at your aging parents and your children and ask yourself, what country do I want them to live in? Because before you vote, if you're not voting for water in your taps 24/7, don't vote. We get 10,000 times the rain we need as water falling from the sky magically. all they need to do is hold it, treat it, distribute it. If you don't want that, don't vote. If you're not voting for public health that treats everybody with first world professionalism and dignity, don't vote. If you're not voting for an education system that treats the little boys and little girls in Mokorapo are the same that they treat Fatima and QRC and presentation, don't vote. Because your vote is an important thing. Aside from your labor and the consumption choices you make, nothing impacts your life as much as your vote. Your vote determines the value of the money in your pocket. Your vote will decide if your children could grow up into adults in a nation where they could meet their significant other, get married, buy a house, and raise a family of their own. Your vote has that power. You've never had a political movement like the Progressive Empowerment Party before. No, we don't have drug trafficker money. No, we don't have $100 billion to go around the savannah and waste it on flags like the PNM does. No, we can't do like the UNC and pay 1,600 people to pack themselves in a school wearing yellow to fool you and make you feel they have support. All we could do is come to you day after day, time after time with real, salient, factual information that could improve the quality of your life just by knowing it. Your vote is going to change this country for good or for bad. Isn't it right and proper that when you go to vote, you use it for good? We took this opportunity tonight to come to you and answer questions. It sounded like we only answered 3, but a lot of people asked a lot of the same questions. And a lot of those questions were dynamic questions and had follow-on questions. We'd like to do this more. So we're going to probably do this once a month and open the lines as it is now. We will be taking your questions publicly and bringing it back to you and answering them for you. We have plenty opportunity in the party for people to get involved and help build a better country through political involvement. We meet on Saturdays at noon at our headquarters, 19 Stanmore Avenue. So, Siri seems to be in a hurry to go to bed, and I am exhausted myself. You're watching this, I know it's not 9 o'clock in the morning. Trinidad and Tobago, Tony say it all the time, to save TNT, vote PEP. On behalf of this panel, I'd like to say thank you to those who took the time to ask questions, and to all of you who view this, who contribute on the threads, because we follow every statement, every contribution, and to those who share it far and wide and tell people, look, there is real opportunity, let's help build it to build a better Trinidad and Tobago. It's for you, it's for us, it's for your parents and my children. You want a better country? Vote PEP. Until next time, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.